Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this second lesson in Discipleship Evangelism with me, Pastor Vic. Great to be speaking to you again over in India. So this is lesson 2, and you should have read that lesson by now, either in your English version or your Telegu version. We've also got a Hindi version, if you'd like us to send over that. So hopefully you've read lesson 2. If not, can you stop and read that lesson now, and then listen to the video once you've finished reading it. So if you've read it, you'll see, I'm just looking at it just now, that the lesson is called Salvation by Grace. And in here, we see Jesus talking in a parable, and this is in Luke 18. He's talking about a parable about two different people, two types of people who are in the temple, both praying, both coming before God, but coming before God in completely different ways. This is actually a parable about religious people and about how they think that they receive things from God through works. But what it shows us is that we receive things through God or from God by grace. And that's grace, a gift of grace through faith in Jesus Christ. So we see two people in this parable. The Pharisee, who's very religious, he's saying, look at me, look how great I am, look what I do this, I do that. And I don't think God's impressed with that prayer. And then we see a publican, who's a picture of a sinner, who's standing there saying, God, be merciful to me, please forgive me. The Pharisee is trusting in his own goodness and his own works and his self-righteousness, but the publican is just trusting that God will love him and forgive him. And we actually see Jesus saying that the publican was forgiven, the publican was justified, because he was the one that was looking to the Lord to forgive him. The Pharisee was looking at his own goodness, his works, his tithing, his praying, his fasting, in order to receive from God. And that picture alludes to this title of Lesson 2, Salvation by Grace. Everything that we get from God, including our initial salvation, our ticket into heaven, but also the salvation that goes on, healing and prosperity and peace and joy, we get all that as a gift of grace because of Jesus Christ. We don't get that because of what we do. We get that because of what Jesus has done and the faith that we have in Jesus. So this is encouraging us to trust in Jesus and not trust in ourselves. This is encouraging us to trust in grace and not to trust in our works. This is to trust in his righteousness and not our good works. What is grace? Well, grace is the free, unmerited favour of God. It's the goodness we get from God, but it's free, it's a gift, and it's unmerited. We don't have to work for it. We don't have to be worthy for it. We don't have to pray and fast and tithe in order for God to love us and be good to us. He is simply because he loves us. And we get all these things as a gift of grace. But it is through faith in Jesus Christ. There's another definition of grace in John 1 verse 17. And it says, for the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. This grace, this free, unmerited favour from God is Jesus, and it comes through Jesus. And all our good things from God comes because of Jesus, not because of our works. That's the difference between grace and law, between true righteousness and self-righteousness. And we'll look at righteousness a little bit in our next lesson. But what I want you to take from today is that salvation, our initial ticket into heaven, and then our ongoing salvation, our healing, our wholeness, our joy, and our peace, comes as a gift of grace through faith in Jesus, not through our works. We're not under the law anymore, my friends. We are under grace. And I'll explain a lot more about that in the next few lessons. Amen.